Today with us, we have Prabhat. He's a founder of Mann Deshi Champions. He aims to empower 1 million young girls with the power of sports. Thanks to the amazing work done by Prabhat and his team, we have many athletes from rural India competing at a national and international level. Welcome, Prabhat. So good to have you.
Thank you, Santosh. Really appreciate it. Thank you so much.
So, Mann Deshi Champions, what is it about? If you can just, speak a bit about it and help our viewers understand.
So Mann Deshi Champions is more about giving opportunity for young girls to play sports, to compete, to sweat for something they love. And why I say that? Because most of the girls in rural villages in India, they're always doing work, they're sweating out, but it's not necessary for their passion, right? Most of the girls, at least who we are serving, who are part of our beneficiary, who are in our communities, these girls get married at the age of 17, 18, 16. They are wage laborers, they are sugarcane cutters. So they are like any girl or any boy or anyone. That's the dream is not to be a wage laborer, right? It's never to be a wage laborer. So how can we create those dreams for them? Help them create those dreams. Let me put it that way. Because people already have a characteristic. How can we help them build that character? And sports does it in a very well way. Now what Mann Deshi Champions does is, they have 3 different programs. One is called Youth Development Center, other is called Elite Athlete Program, and the third one is a Curiosity and Travel Coach Program. But before that, just what Mann Deshi Champions is this combination of these 3 programs, where Youth Development Center, what we do is we provide young college girls an opportunity to apply for jobs, an opportunity to write their resume. We give them skill set to even public speaking, swimming, music, drama, painting. Then apart from that, then of course, competitive examinations, police, constable, those MPSC, Maharashtra state examinations, and then banking examinations, varieties of things we teach them. We also make sure that they do debates on LGBTQ community. And of course, we are not the ones who are telling them this is right and wrong. We want them to show what's going on and what do you think, is it right or is it wrong? And we give them a fresh perspective. Similarly, they have a debate on caste system. We want, of course, the idea is always to make sure that all people are equal. But unfortunately, even in today, across India, we have heavily constructed caste system. Similarly, we have what's going on within the religion as well. So kind of figuring out that and letting them make their own mind. We want them to decide what is right for them. We want them to decide what is right for the community from their view. So we do varieties of program under Youth Development Center. Now that's one. And I can also, in the next part, I can tell you about how did we start all this? Why this, So in Youth Development Center, we have been able to give about jobs to about 300 girls in total so far in last 2-3 years. And of course, COVID has been a big challenge in this. And what kind of job do they get? From police force, to teacher, to banker, to painter. We have also got some people who got a job as a painter. Before they would have never even thought about it because they're good in paintings. But how many people are good in paintings in India? So many. It's just that nobody thinks about it, that I can literally get paid to be a painter. So then they end up doing BCom or BA, whatever, and they leave the painting part and work as a peon or clerk or sometimes even cleaner. But they're amazing painters. So we are trying to get those ideas into their mind, also similar with music. So that's what Youth Development Center is. Now coming back to the Elite Athlete Program, that is divided into 2 parts. One is giving sports opportunity to play for girls across. We work in Maharashtra and Chhattisgarh, in those 2 states right now. Of course, in Chhattisgarh, only in Raipur. And now we are planning to work in 12 other districts of Chhattisgarh from the month of April. We were supposed to do it in Feb, but because of Omicron, we had to kind of postpone that. So in the Elite Athlete Program, what we do is we provide every children come and play sports, regardless of what sports do you like. We have all kinds of sports for all kinds of age groups, boys, girls. We don't do any separation between them. It's diverse. We do co-ed sports as well. where boys and girls play together hockey, together kabaddi. We also have those kind of sports. So kind of do the equality between them, understand each other's gender. That is also very, very important because it's very tough and challenging because most of the time in rural villages, boys go to different school, girls go to different school. So there is no such understanding. So that is the program is there as well in this elite athlete and sports program where we are providing opportunity for all the children to play sports. And then what happens is we choose from that, okay, this person, number one person is doing really good in kabaddi. Number two person is doing really good in wrestling. So we train them according to higher training. We even provide them nutrition, breakfast, chicken, eggs, bananas, mosambis, dates. Some athletes who are older, they also get protein packs. So it's kind of holistic program where you come in, you start as just a passion and sports. And if you really like it, if you're really good in it, then you become a competitive. If you want to become a competitive, maybe you're good in it, but you don't want to become a competitive. That's okay as well. Maybe you want to do painting. Maybe you're good in wrestling. Very good. You might win a medal, but if you don't like it, then I don't think you should do it. That's how the whole approach is that. So we have athletes like that, about 8,000 in total. And then in 8,000 athletes, we have about 50 athletes on the national level. We have about 7 to 10 athletes international level. We have over 100 athletes at the state level. So that's one program. And now we have another program, is Curiosity Center. So this is very interesting. You know, we had some of our athletes who had gone for Junior Olympics and some international events. They had come back from the US. And these are athletes, to be honest, who are daughters and children of sugarcane cutters. They've never been into the flight for the first time, but now sports is taking them across the world, being in the flight, being in the highest level, competing. And that kind of gives you a lot of confidence, even though they don't speak a single word of English, but they have a smile on their face and they travel with full confidence. I think that can only happen with sports. So now in that Curiosity Center, there was an incident when we had a couple of athletes coming from US who we did an exchange program. They came and visited us. We have Olympic size pool. We decided to paint the wall of the pool. And we thought instead of giving it to someone else, let's have our athletes who are 13, 14, 12 years old paint the wall. Now, the American athletes, what they did, they painted planets, underwater world, things like that. Our athletes, that's good what they also painted, but unfortunately, I would call it unfortunately, they were painting more about Indian flag, Jai Jawan, Jai Kisan, then this Dhade Lawa, Dhade Zagwa. So I felt like the curiosity is missing somehow. It's all about what we are teaching them or what they see on the news channels or what they have been taught, like the slogans, those Indian flag, army, farmers. That's great, no doubt. But apart from that, we also need to have other kind of scientific, other approaches of imaginations, which I felt were missing. So then that really struck me. I really want to work on this and let's start something which makes them curious. So that's where we came up with an idea of Curiosity Center. We introduced science, painting, drama all together. So now we have a planetarium, we have a science lab, physics lab, and it's fun lab. It's not like what we used to do in 12th and those practical lico, all that kind of stuff, writing practical books, which didn't even make sense at all, but we are doing it. So you really make your models, volcano, if you want to really understand a volcano, you make your mud volcano, do a small chemical blast in it so the lava comes out. So we want them to do all those things. And that's the cool part about the program. And I really love, to be honest, this is one of my favorite programs we do, from planetarium to science to drama to all that. So and within that Curiosity Center, we wanted to also make sure that teachers are also curious, government school teachers. So we decided to work with Chhattisgarh government and Maharashtra government, that we'll train your teachers. So now we also train the teachers as well of government schools. So we train about n numbers of teachers of government school. In total, I think so far we have trained over 1,200 teachers so far of both the states of government school. So this is the travel coach program. We go to the government school. We teach the children as well as we teach the trainers. I mean the coaches or teachers, because when we work with till 8th standard, we don't work beyond 8th standard, because I think that beyond 8th standard, it's already the learning age has been a bit past and it's tough also. So we decided, no, our age group should be only till 8th standard when it comes to these programs. The travel coach, where we are training the teacher and the schools and the children.
So you're focusing on sports, physical, building curiosity, making them as free thinkers. So I think it's a very holistic approach. So Prabhat, I know that you like sports and you also travel quite a bit. So what led you to all of this? Is it a culmination of your journey? Can you just talk us through that?
I grew up in the village, the same village where the program is. I grew up around nomadic tribal children. So my dad also comes from a different caste community. My grandmother was very influential in my life. Like I have also written a lot of stuff about her, articles and things, because she never been to school in her life. But I think her approach was very practical. She was a farmer. She just passed away 3 years ago. She taught me how to catch snakes, how to identify snakes. She taught me how to get beehives, climb trees, and still I do those things. And we also teach this to our children as well. But now we teach it in a scientific way, let me put it, because I don't want to teach them in a way my grandmother taught me. Because my grandmother was like a village, very, strong woman. So what we do is we have a biodiversity people also coming in and talking to them about snakes and all that. But how I got into it, because my grandmother, I was just walking with my grandmother across our field. We would do corn fields. We will have pomegranate. We will grow. So I learned every inch of it, how to do like earthworm fertilizers. I grew up in a village where I went to Jilla Parishad school, like government school, Marathi medium government school. And in that time, of course, you would also know that Marathi medium schools and all that, they didn't have English. So I couldn't even speak a single word of English. I started swimming at a very young age. So I really got good into swimming. We used to catch ducks in the lakes. Then again, climbing trees to get beehive. Now, fortunately, my mom has started this Mann Deshi Bank, which is how actually Prasad and I know each other. And that's how we got connected. So my mom started Mann Deshi Bank for rural women. And she was awarded a fellowship in Yale University. And in that, they had some exchange program for students as well. And then I applied for that and I was able to get in. So at 8th standard, I moved from the village where I was catching snakes and swimming in the lake and climbing trees to get beehive. I didn't even know how to say, how are you in English, to be honest. I had no clue. Maybe a couple of words, but that's it. And then I moved from that to US. I did my high school there. Now I'm swimming for competitions. Now I'm playing basketball for competitions. And even I climbed for competitions. I played for my school, my district. So then I decided that I really love the sports, and it really helped me without understanding in the beginning the single word of English. It taught me how to make friends, just basic, simple things. I think sports can start with making friends itself. And having friends is very important for a girl, for a boy, everyone, because that is the thing which is going to shape you in your life. And that is the thing which is going to make you happy. Friends would be the number one people who will going to make you happy. And then children. And that is true. That's where it gave me an idea that, you know what, sports is a lot more than just building confidence, just giving that self-esteem or dignity. It's also about happiness and making friendship. And then I came back here for some time. I played for some teams here also at the state level. Then I went back to the US. And then I decided to do my master's. I worked in banking sector, corporate banking sector in New York, and also worked in different corporate companies to manage their investments in sports. That's how I got into sports. I want to help companies to invest in sports. I want to help companies to do marketing in sports, do endorsement deals. So I started doing that. I also started helping athletes to do endorsement deals for their professional athleticism. Like in the US, I decided to be kind of like a sort of agent for them. And I really loved it. You get to travel a lot. You get to meet a lot of different people. You get to understand the sports model. You get to explain to the companies that why sports you should invest and how, because company is not about passion, right? They need to have return on investment. So then how do you get a return on investment? So I helped some companies to invest in international volleyball at the Olympics in Rio. And before that also World Championships in Netherlands and different places. So I was doing that in US for some time. I really loved my jobs, and to be honest, I was doing great financially as well. But what happened was I used to come here and visit Maswad and my region. Once I was just traveling nearby, about 50 kilometers from where I am right now, and I met this family who was cutting sugarcane. There was this girl who was about 12 years old. She was cutting sugarcane, and sugarcane cutting is tough. You cut from 3 a.m. to 4 p.m. And you get cuts, a lot of snakes inside, so you have to be very alert. And it's no joke, to be honest. So this girl is cutting sugarcane, never been to school. And then at lunchtime, I was having lunch with them. Interestingly, she said that she was just playing with ball. She said that this is the 15-20 minutes. I feel so happy. And she just said it, casually, not to show me that, sports makes me happy, because nobody thinks like that. It just happens to you, right? I spoke with her parents, and then I realized her name is Nakusa. Nakusa means unwanted daughter. Now, I'm aware of that name. I've been hearing this name. It's not a new thing for me. So I was not shocked. I was sad, but not shocked. Then I kind of had interaction with her, but I realized that the sports she's playing dodgeball just for 15 minutes, that is making her really happy, despite of all these challenges she's going through. That's where it clicked me that it's not just about giving jobs, winning medals. It's about sweating for something you love. It's about just being happy at that moment. I think that is more important than winning a medal or then getting a job. So that's why we started then I came back and started the program.
Wow. So this is Nakusa. So from Nakusa to, when you started this, there must have been your first success when you saw, when you said, okay, this is meaningful. What was that?
I'll give you a couple of examples of that. There is one girl named Reshma. Reshma, after school, her job was to kind of go after buffaloes, raise buffaloes. But her brother, she has one younger brother, 4 elder sisters. So you can imagine why 5 daughters and 1 son. That's very normal in India, because they wanted to have a son, and son, till they don't get a son, there will be daughters coming up or whatever, till the son happens. A similar situation with Reshma. Even I remember Reshma's mom telling me that she was crying when Reshma born, because they wanted to have son, because then the mother is going to go through another pregnancy, which that's what exactly happened. And luckily then there was a son. They even pray to God, if it's a daughter, we don't want it. Just somehow make sure the son comes in, because then it's another burden for themselves. She runs marathons. Instead of running behind a buffalo, she runs marathon. She won Virginia State Championship in the US. She's won Pune International Marathon. She's top 10 runner in India right now. You can imagine the girl, when she was born, her family was not happy. Today she runs the entire family. So that is kind of a powerful example. Now, Reshma, if you meet her, one professor from Georgetown University, where I went to, told me that she met Reshma in the US, and she had never met such a confident woman in her life. So coming from an American professor, white lady, and saying about Reshma, I think that was really beautiful, because that sports has given her that kind of confidence. Second example is another girl. That's why we started the Youth Development Center. Her name is Namratas. Her now younger sister also competing for wrestling in my program. So Namrata was a cross-country runner. She was 17 and a half or something. She came to me that she couldn't go beyond district level. She said, Dada, I want to do something, otherwise my parents will have me married off. So I was like, okay, what do you want to do? She said, I want to become a police constable. Then we put her in some tutoring class in a hostel. And then she gave this police constable exam. She became a railway police constable within 3 months. She is getting paid now 45,000 per month. Now she's 22 and not married. So what she said is that once I have access and control over finance, I can make my own decision. I can say no. I have choices to say no. So I think because of that Youth Development Center started, I thought like it's not just about sports. It's about giving them opportunity to even say no or have access and control over finance. That can only happen when you have a job. So that's why those job Youth Development Center is there. So that's one example. The third one is very interesting and sad also at the same time. There was this girl named Sarita Bhise. Now, Sarita used to walk with a flock of sheep. She's a shepherd. They don't have one permanent house. They move from one place to another. They live in those huts. Sarita her job was to make sure that wolves are not eating the sheep. So she knows how to track wolves. Like, how many people would know that? Sarita walks about 300 kilometers per year with the flock of sheep. Of course, in 3 or 4 months of time, she used to miss the school. Then Sarita joined the program. She became the Maharashtra field hockey captain for the Maharashtra field hockey team. She attended Junior India camp. Now the girl who was tracking wolves are now representing for Maharashtra. But unfortunately, what happened is COVID. She really had a lot of potential, but in COVID, everything got stopped. She had won gold medals at the national levels as well. I mean, her team, and she's a goalkeeper and a captain. So what happened was that when they came back to the village, now parents are not used to see the daughters when they're 18, 19 years old in their house. So they wanted her to get married. They really tried for 6 months to extend the marriage, but finally somehow they, chupke se, they got them. Of course, all the sports, everything is gone. Otherwise, she would have at least gotten a government job. But also now that is not possible. Because she's going to stay in the village. Her husband probably doesn't want her to go, all that kind of stuff. So unfortunately, that has happened. I'm trying to reach out to her. So I'm trying to kind of train her to be a coach. At least if she's going to stay here, she should have a job. So let's see. These are kind of, examples. There are so many
things to really feel a sense of pride, especially see that, children from your area getting a chance to represent at a national level is big. I think your location is lucky to have you come back and work, but I'm sure talent would be a bit of a challenge. So how do you motivate your team? How do you keep the show running in your area?
So getting coaches is a huge problem and challenge. It's not about the payment. It's not about the monthly salary. They're ready to pay even higher, but nobody wants to live in the villages. And I can understand. Like, I'm coming here because I have that sense of attachment and then I'm from here. Otherwise, for a normal person to leave Pune, Mumbai, Delhi and come to this place where there's not even a single restaurant, how would that work out? So that has been challenged. We have a lot of tie-ups with international universities. Before COVID, we used to get a lot of coaches from there as well, like track and field. We have tie-up with Georgetown, Yale, then SAIS. Then we have a collaboration with Virginia Tech, different universities. We kind of get those coaches as well on 3-4 months basis, and they train our coaches. Right now, we do have a very good wrestling program. We are struggling with track and field. We have amazing results, but our athletes are good. But we need to find a good quality coach. We already have 3 coaches. They're good, but I won't say they are not best. They're not best yet.
Right.
So we need to figure that out as well. So that's kind of a challenge, of course, to motivate them. The best thing is have your older athletes get trained as coaches and then have them back. But also at the same time, a lot of good athletes like Reshmas, they want to be a government jobs. And I understand that because, railways and all those jobs do offer. So they will first try that. If they don't get it, then they're probably going to come to Mann Deshi Champions, and we train them. And there's this NIS coaching facilities they do 3 months training, 1 year training.
So you're targeting to kind of build your own talent pool over the period of time.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, we do have right now. We have 2 coaches from where once they were athletes. We started now. The capacity of sports is altogether about 50 people.
50
just employees. Yeah.
Okay. In terms of leadership, you would have worked with many different leaders. So do you remember any first person, first boss who really inspired you?
Okay. I'll give you both. Like a lot of my professors at Georgetown University, and one of my professor was also after I graduated, I worked with him in his company. So his name is George Perry. He's been really inspirational for me as well. He guided me a lot, rather than just inspiration, but a big time guiding force. He would tell me the nuances of how do you ask for funding, how do you make proposals, and he gave me a lot of freedom to do when you're working in the beginning, when you just graduate, you work for a company, you don't get that kind of freedom. You just have to follow your boss. But in this sense, he just told me to do your own mistakes and figure it out. And I mean, I had crazy freedom. I don't think anyone would have that kind of freedom to do whatever, meet my own clients, figure out if I may do a mistake, it's on me. I think I learned a lot from that. And so that's a learning. But inspiration wise, it's one of the things is my grandmother is a huge inspiration. My mother as well. And then more of these children I meet, to be honest. Reshma, there's another girl named Nikita who learned swimming because her mother had told her, if you don't swim when you get married, your in-laws will drown you. So you should know how to swim. So I mean, it's a funny. She said it in a very funny way, but still that is there. So I think people like these, like from Reshma to Vaishnavi to Sarita, Namratas, they inspire me. When you see them, why they inspire me, also I'll tell you. See, Reshma plays for Indian team. Vaishnavi plays for Indian team. Or Reshma had played, Vaishnavi still plays. Or there are a lot of other girls who also play. So that's a huge deal, right? Playing for Indian team in your sport is like becoming a CEO of your own company where you love it. Like if I'm a computer engineer, then I'm becoming a CEO. Right? That's kind of the ultimate goal, right? So, and of course, then becoming a global CEO, which when you go to the Olympics. But even till you play for the Indian team, that's a huge thing. So then when these people, they play for the Indian team, when they come home, especially Reshma, Sarita, all of them, when they come home, they're still cutting the onions, they're still washing the dishes, they're still going into the farm. I don't think a boy would do those things, even their own brother. Right? And I think that makes it more kind of, I'm not saying that girls should do all this, not at all. But what I'm trying to say is that it gives you immense respect for them, that dude, these are like superwomen. They do everything, which is not supposed to be honest. They should just play sports. That's it. But they're doing it. So I think that also inspires me. Like when I think about, oh, I have a lot of work and all the stuff, I think about them and look at them then, how they're managing it.
Wow. So true, yeah. And lucky that you have daily inspiration that you work with. Now, coming to innovation and sports, how have you seen that space evolve, considering that you're so actively in that?
Yeah, so like for example, we do have created curriculum and models and stuff like to expand sports programs. We do need to kind of scale it with the technology. We cannot use the technology and scale it. The technology and innovation should be there. That curiosity center is altogether innovative thing. Like innovation we have there is the planetarium, which moves from one place to another place. It's a portable planetarium. You put it in a car, it goes to one school to another school, to a third school, fourth school. So that is the innovation in there. Then we got this curriculum to teach coaches in Hindi, Marathi, and English. And these curriculum we use for the travel coach program in working in different states. From Chhattisgarh, now we are also going to Assam, to Maharashtra. And now the next, we're already building that. We are building an online platform where teachers can, after getting a training from us, they can use this platform to have a daily understanding. It will show you videos. It's not some foreigners talking about it. It will be literally other coaches from their own community talking about, okay, how do you run? What do you do? Basic stuff. What do you eat? So that we are building that. Same thing is in that booklet. It's very innovative where you have all this picture-based, like how you do. And then where we have our own, I don't have it, athletes and our own coaches doing all these things. So then it shows you every single thing, the laws, how to do, how to play the kabaddi, everything. So same thing will be on the platform, but on the video base.
Okay, so you're creating scalable tutoring or education modules across.
Yeah, so that is what the sports is doing right now.
Oh, amazing.
And the new program we are coming up with, we are trying to integrate the Pardhi and Dombari communities, which are like from British era. They used to be in crime. it's really hard to get them. We've got other tribals, but to them into the mainstream, it's very tough. So we are trying to figure something out. It's not come yet. I'm working on it.
Prabhat, now from anyone who's watching this, what would be your ask, or how do you think viewers can contribute to the efforts that you're taking?
I would say, like, in spite of just like contributing to what I am doing, more than that, it would be just giving people opportunity. I want them, like, if people are watching, let's say they're in Mumbai, Pune, or even internationally, whoever, I think they should acknowledge that this is the situation in India, that girls don't get opportunity to play sports. And second is, we should not just like think about, oh, when the Olympic comes, everybody got some like bandwagon of we need to have win medals and all that. But we don't have facilities to win medals. We don't have coaching. Have your children, have your brothers, have your daughters to be coaches, to be nutritionists. I think once that happens, then people like us can have more number of people who we can give an opportunity. And I think there are a lot of opportunities. To be honest, the coaching, the entire career is going to be booming in next 5-6 years because we don't have a good quality coaches. So that's one, just to acknowledge and just to be aware of these facilities, these opportunities of career for your sisters, daughters, or whoever, friends. You should motivate them. So that's one. The second is when you work, when you are excuse me, when you are in the streets of Mumbai, Pune, Delhi, when you see children, because that's you're gonna see everywhere, right? Children who are begging. I feel like somehow we just need to figure out that we had that opportunity, they don't. So for example, there are a lot of people who do shows on those slackline on the street, and that's a tough job. So I won't like, I really prefer that people should give them some funds, even if that's doing a show on the street. And if you have some group of friends, you should invite them in your school nearby or in your community to do a show and pay them good amount of money. Because you might go to watch some slackline competition in the US when you're there and you pay for the tickets there. Or you do some gymnastic or this Cirque du Soleil, this elite kind of circus have come up. That's great. I'm not denying anything. So you pay tickets for them. So now, when you see something like this on the streets, why don't you just talk to them, have them come over your community, your school, perform a show? Because these children, that would really help them and give a good amount of money, more than you could normally pay for any other show, because that's how their value also increases. So that, and I think if anyone knows any good coaches, then do let us know.
Sure, sure.
See, funding is not that an issue, to be honest.
Right, right.
So I didn't speak about funding at all.
Thank you so much, Prabhat. I think it's been a brilliant conversation and great insights from rural India. I'm sure it's just great value to anyone who's watching this or who wants to do anything in this particular space. Thank you so much. Hi.
Thank you. Thank you, Santosh. Really appreciate having me here. I think it was great having a conversation with you. Thank you so much again.
Thank you.